Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing 19,900 subscribers and counting. This motherfucking episode right here is going to be about RJD prison, Donovan, and how it kind of compares to other prisons as far as gang violence and what I saw transpire. Right. So, RJD, yes, there's a good yard. One general population, level 3. Right. But that's not saying much. Listen to what I'm saying. That's not saying much. If you have come from another prison, Calipat, Sentinella, probably even Ironwood, Salinas Valley for sure, High Desert, then you know how active these general populations can get in the politics, right? Straight writing for the cause, as they would call it. RJD wasn't necessarily like that. The majority of the yards were mental health. Now, when you think about danger, you think about gangs. We're gonna be talking about some heavy hitters shortly, but you tell me, what do you think is more dangerous? Crazy, psychotic inmates that are impulsive and that will snap on you for no reason and attack you for no reason, or the structured gang politics? To me, I've kind of experienced both. The one that was more dangerous was a psychotic, impulsive inmate. They're gonna take off on you for no reason. But when you talk about the coordinated gang prison violence, then that is, when they carry it out, they carry it out. So here we go. There's an ad seg in Donovan. There's two on Bravo Yard, Building 6 and Building 7. Bravo 6 and Bravo 7. The majority of those inmates housed in that ad seg are and were from Donovan. They do something dumb on the yard, they go to the hole, right? They do a shoeable offense, they go to the hole. However, there was periods of times when, remember, I was a sergeant and a lieutenant at Donovan for 8 years. There was a period of time when Calipat would send us their dudes to the hole. Sentinella would send us their dudes to the hole. And this story in particular is Lancaster. LAC Lancaster Prison sending us their dudes to the hole, right? The difference with that is, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, man. I've always kept it real. If you started at Donovan, and they hated this shit too. They hated people that came from other prisons. And they hated hearing the stories of like, oh, well, at this prison, we do it like this. Because Donovan was fucked up. Let me tell you, not just administration. The whole place, I'm telling you, needs to be bulldozed. The shit people were doing, the practices, like, let me give you an idea, an example. In ADSEG, you're supposed to handcuff both inmates in the cell when the cell door opens. The cell door cannot open unless the inmates are in handcuffs in ADSEG. Well, if there was 2 inmates in there, even Southsiders, Sureños, they would just handcuff one and tell the other one to take a seat, or, hey, man, just hang out on your bunk and open the door. Well, let me tell you this. I kind of heard from other people in the comments like, oh, yeah, they used to do that here and there. But that was a complete no-go at Sentinella. Reason being is because at one point, at one time, the rule was, for them, the rule for Blue was, hey, if the door cracks, fucking get off on the cops. Automatic, get off on somebody. Right? So they will come out fucking fighting. And I kept telling those officers too, like, hey, fucking handcuff both of them. Yeah, okay, Sarge, we got you. Mandaron a la verga. Anyways, there was a heavy hitter at Lancaster at this time. He would eventually touch down at Donovan. And we had many conversations. The thing is, I'm never going to say nobody's name. You guys had initially asked me, hey, Hector, you ever talk to those dudes? And I'm like, yes, of course, right? Part of my job. Well, when those heavy hitters speak, I told you their voice fucking carries. There's power in their fucking words. And if you got soldiers, that's what they are, man. They're soldiers for their own cause. And made a whole episode on torpedoes. And I've even made episodes on how you can tell people's eyes when they're just fucking gonna go for it. This was one of those dudes, man. And I gotta tell you, for this exact incident, I was not there, right? For this exact incident. However, the victim and the suspect I had seen before the incident, I'm sure I encountered them afterwards, right? So I knew who they were. So you had a heavy hitter in Lancaster. You had this soldier, torpedo in Lancaster. He comes. I think they both ended up touching down in the ADSEG in Donovan. So now you have a motherfucking extreme heavy hitter. Boom, right? You have a soldier, a motherfucking extreme soldier, and then you have the person that they deemed the victim. I don't know what he did. I can't even remember. Even if I could remember, I probably wouldn't even tell you. But it was like, he upset the higher ups, right? Blue, not green. Well, the kite goes out, the word goes out, the palabra goes out. Hey, hit this dude. Well, let me tell you something. Oh, the heavy hitter was in the building. The heavy hitter was in the building. So, if you're getting orders from a heavy hitter to hit somebody, and he's in the building where he can look out the window, you better bet your fucking bottom dollar that he went for it, man. In the cell with a good weapon, right? With a good shank. So they were cellies, and then you hear the alarm. I might have been on another yard or some shit, because you hear the alarm, and then you just start, whenever there's a good incident, and this one was a good one, and the good ones were far and few in between in Donovan, let me tell you. Oh, I was going to go off topic. This fucking suspect stabbed the dog shit out of this victim. Hit him all up in the stomach. I mean, the dude's intestines were hanging out, man. They were hanging out of his body. You could see the gut. The tripas, man. They were hanging out. They were protruding from his fucking body. Both of them look like they got buckets and buckets of blood and just fucking dumped it on top of their heads, like the movie Carrie. You know those white boxers? Well, they were not white, man. They were fucking bright red, drenched. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, those fucking cops in ADSEG, like, they handled the situation, but I'm like, hey, this right here is on another level, right? This type of violence is the type of violence you see at other prisons, not Donovan. It's not normal for fucking Donovan. And, yeah, they bandaged the fucking dude up. I know all three fucking names. They're up here, but I'm not going to say them. Clearly, the victim was deemed no good. Clearly, the suspect earned his bones again and again and again. That dude probably had like 6 fucking hits by then. The heavy hitter we would have many conversations, him and I. And they were mostly based on keeping the peace on the yard, as far as minimizing all unnecessary violence. Towards green. Towards green, man. Don't be putting hands on us. Don't be putting hands on us. We won't be putting hands on you. Let's keep our hands together here, right? It's kind of common sense. But actually, one of the conversations had was, hey, man, we both we've both seen violence, man. We both seen, and he goes, yeah, it's nasty. I go, yeah, it's ugly. I said, I don't want that, man. He's like, me neither. I said, I'll keep it real, dude. Like, my goal is just to keep the peace around here. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, no, he's like, I get you. Right. So that was kind of a mutual, we were literally seeing eye to eye, talking man to man. Kind of put things in perspective, kind of open up a lot of, right? You kind of get a gathering for the temperature of the climate in CDCR. Try not to say too much there, but and you guys know I don't really be speaking on that type of shit. But when I was gonna go off subject right now, I'll throw in a little bonus. When I say there's no real incidents at Donovan, there's just fucking. They're almost like flukes. Like when I first promoted a sergeant, the inmate tied a fucking knife to his hand and stabbed the officer. That was like a fucking fluke. When the heavy hitter, Yoda, stabbed those two cops because he made best friends with the captain, that was like a fucking fluke waiting to happen. But you're not going to get constant violence like Calipad, like Sentinella, like cellie, like that constant good, ongoing, old school prison type shit. Even the riots, man. I ain't never been in a good riot at Donovan. And when I say good, I don't mean like I love to see riots, right? What I'm saying is like a good one, a real one. Let me tell you this, and everybody will agree right now. Smash that like button. At Donovan, you know how many code 3s I heard on the radio for Charlie Yard? 100. And you know what they all are? A group of blacks not wanting to lock it up. In the housing units, on the yard, mostly in the housing units. So they just call a code 3, all the staff get there, the blacks talking shit to the cops scared out of their mind because the plumber, the captain, and everybody else is going to burn them. It's just a bad situation. So it wasn't just administration that was just off the hook at Donovan. It's just that whole place just runs weird, right? People would agree to that shit. The message for today, man, is don't get complacent. And I don't give a fuck where you work at, right? These messages for the day are not solely for prison. I'm sure you guys have gathered that. Don't get complacent. Don't get mad when people try to give you advice because complacency kills, for number one. Learn that shit in the Army. Number two, you had plenty of us that came from other prisons that were with the business, but we don't be talking like that. That were familiar with the inmates being with the business. And, yeah, man, that was fucking normal to the majority of us, right? Like, that's normal program right there. So, ask questions, open your ears, look around, right? And don't ever just cast anybody off. With that,